Hakann, identifying spiritual ego. My dearest brothers and sisters, this is Hakann speaking. I greet you in peace and love. To encourage open-mindedness, I would like to start with an observation. Likely you believe that the person you were 10 years ago had some unresolved issues, had some completely wrong opinions, and had a lower level of consciousness than you do now. And most likely you are correct about these things. You are likely correct that you have grown in the last 10 years. Just think of who you were, and where you were 10 years ago. And it is great that so many of you have grown substantially. I applaud you for that. Well, similarly, it is highly likely that the person you will be in 10 years will look at the current you as a person who had some unresolved issue, who had some completely wrong opinions, or who had a lower level of consciousness. And again, likely this will be correct. This suggests that most likely the person you are today may have some unresolved issues, wrong opinions, or doesn't have as high a level of consciousness as you will have later in life. I would invite you to be open-minded to that possibility. To be clear, that doesn't mean there is anything wrong with you. The person you are right now is already good enough, is already an amazing person, and is already worthy of love. As you are right now. And also, in the future, you will be even more evolved than you are today. Even if you perhaps have some unresolved issues, some growth left to do and some wrong opinions, even then you are amazing. You are fully worthy of love, and you are good enough. As you are right now. With that in mind, I discussed what the spiritual ego is in my previous message, Hakann, spiritual ego. To recap, spiritual ego is when a person has an unrealistically high opinion of themselves due to their spirituality. In today's message, I would like to invite you to try and observe a few things within yourself. This can help you identify and help dissolve any spiritual ego you might have. Perhaps you don't have any spiritual ego, or perhaps you do, or perhaps an inner part of you does. If you do have some traces of spiritual ego, that is actually quite normal. Many people do, perhaps even most spiritual people do. 1. Observe within yourself if there is a part of you that feels that you have reached the spiritual top, and there is no further growth or knowledge to be gained. You might instantly become aware of such a part. Or you can ask yourself, is there a part of me that feels that I have reached the spiritual top, and there is no further growth or knowledge to be gained? Any answer that immediately arises in you could be a genuine answer. If neither of those options work, you can also think back if those sorts of thoughts crossed your mind recently. Or you can keep this in mind in the following days. It is of course also entirely possible that you genuinely don't have these thoughts, or such a part. That is genuinely true for some people. And in this case, great. If you notice you do have a part inside yourself, or you have thoughts that you already have reached the spiritual top, and there is no further growth to be gained, well, first of all observe it without immediately trying to change it, or disagree with it, or lecture it, or condemn it. Just observe it. And if you can, give yourself and it some love. Acknowledge how far you've come, because yes, you really are amazing already, as you are right now. After all, most people on earth haven't woken up, and you have to at least a significant extent. Looking at yourself honestly, and giving yourself kudos and congratulations for what you have accomplished already, is a fine and indeed very beneficial practice. So long as you're doing this in a realistic way, it will not inflate your ego. In fact, giving yourself acknowledgement and congratulations, and love for how far you have come already can help dissolve any spiritual ego you might have. And if you have a safe relationship with a loved one, you can also ask them for love and acknowledgement. You don't necessarily need to go out and tell strangers what you have done. But just acknowledging what you have accomplished to yourself is healthy. It is healthy to have a realistic self-esteem, viewed through a neutral and not through a hypercritical lens. 2. Observe within yourself if there is a part of you that judges other people. You can do this in the same way that you did the last question. If you don't judge others, great. If you find that you do, well, again, observe it without immediately judging it. and give yourself love and acknowledgement. It is entirely possible that at this stage you will not yet be able to fully get rid of judgments. This channeler isn't able to fully get rid of all his judgments. Sure, he could tell himself that he shouldn't judge, but that would just push his judgments into his unconscious, where it would become part of his shadow. What you resist, persists. In general, telling yourself that you shouldn't have bad thoughts or emotions will just make them unconscious, and then you might superficially appear more righteous, but in fact, that won't get you any closer to higher levels of spiritual attainment. Instead, it's healthy to be conscious of your own judgments, to observe them, and to be wise enough to try and not let it influence your behavior or your words, and to treat others as fairly and lovingly as possible in your words and actions. In the long term, you can get rid of your judgments by removing so many inner barriers and blockages that you are overflowing with love and bliss, and then judging others will not seem sensible anymore. How do you get there? Observe, breathe deeply and slowly every day, and do your spiritual practice. You can also do onion healing, as I described in my article Hakann, Onion Healing. Or you could learn and embody that Earth humans really are just immortal reincarnating souls having human experiences through their human lower selves, and therefore there's no need to be judgmental even against people doing harmful things. Sure, you may still want to stop those who would harm innocents, but that doesn't mean that you feel judgmental against evildoers or feel that you are superior to them. Still, actually embodying these things, and not just rationally understanding them, will probably take some time still. So for now, just observe. You also don't need to tell the people who you're judging that you are in fact judging them. Yes, you shouldn't, but that doesn't mean that you need to tell everything to everyone. Just be fair in your words and actions, and if you have some unloving thought in your mind, then that is something to observe, and by observing it, perhaps repeatedly, you will eventually let it go automatically. 3. Observe within yourself if there is a group of people that you feel hostility towards. To be clear, it is entirely fine to think that certain political movements or organizations are wrong, or are net harmful. That statement is literally true when applied to certain movements or organizations. However, it becomes excessive if you label every single person within that group as evil, which usually isn't the case, unless you're specifically talking about the dark controllers or certain other specific evil organizations. So, not every Democrat or Republican is evil and is a net negative influence. Not every man is bad. Not every woman is bad. Not every Jew is bad. Not every immigrant is bad. Etc. Now sure, certain individuals in these groups may very well be bad. Still, it may not be your path to go and fight evildoers. Even if it is, well, you can disagree with or oppose certain people without actively feeling hostility or emotional anger towards them. Because what value does hostility or emotional anger add? Sure, it may be good to stop certain evildoers, but you can also do that without hostility or emotional anger. Though again, if you do feel hostility or anger, just observe. Why is this related to spiritual ego? Well, if you judge an entire group of people as bad, then that is a way to elevate yourself above them, and to label yourself as superior to millions or even billions of people. It is also useful to note that the media will likely only point to particularly bad people, which can skew your perception. For example, if 20 immigrants are obeying the law and working hard and trying to immigrate, and one immigrant does something outrageous, then the news will only tell you about the one immigrant who did something outrageous. Now you might still feel that illegal immigration is bad, which is a reasonable position to have, but it's possible to have that position without labeling all immigrants as bad, or having a visceral dislike of them as some people do. I get that some people are scared, but ultimately, you are an immortal soul who can't be harmed. On a fundamental level, you are safe no matter what happens. Similarly, it's not a noteworthy news story that a decent, loving family man does his best to help and love and provide for his family. But it is a noteworthy story that an evil male CEO did something horrible, or that some crazy man murdered multiple people somewhere. So the latter stories are the only stories about men you'll see in the media, even though the kind family man is far more common than either an evil CEO man or a murderer. Similarly, most Jews are simply kind and decent people. Most Jews and CEOs are prime ministers of Israel. If you feel hostility towards some group, it can help to do a little bit of research about what life is like for an average person in that group. Perhaps go talk in a respectful way to some of them, in real life and online. And then ask yourself, if you were an average person in that group, how would you want the outside world to treat your group? 4. Next time you encounter new information, observe how you process that information. Most people simply react emotionally to new information. If the information is emotionally pleasing or beneficial or worldview confirming, then the new information is assumed to be true. If the information is emotionally unpleasing, or non-beneficial, or goes against the established worldview, then the new information is assumed to be false. This sounds cynical, but this is literally how it works for the vast majority of people, including many people who think they are very fair or rational or scientific or unbiased, and also including many people who think they are very spiritual. Now yes, it is possible to be so in tune with your intuition, or your guidance, that it is your intuition or guidance that processes new information. And if you're there, that's great. That's amazing. However, most spiritual people still process information on an emotional level. Sure, they might dress that up as saying, oh, this information doesn't resonate, but that's often just a rationalization for discarding things that emotionally don't feel good, whether they're true or false. Genuine intuition is rare. Usually when people call something intuition, then they're really just referring to their emotions. Yes, it's possible to be so in tune that true things resonate and false things don't. Some people are at that stage. However, most spiritual people are not. In fact, most people who say they are very objective or fair or unbiased or intuitive in fact are quite biased, and are often led by their emotions. Whereas if a person says that they are biased, and they're merely pretending to be as objective as possible, likely that person is more fair than a person who labels themselves as unbiased. Note that it is completely fine to say that you simply don't know whether certain things are true or not. It's completely fine to not have an opinion, or to not have a strong opinion on a certain topic. And it is completely fine to say that you don't care enough about a certain topic to spend the time to study it, because after all, the true gems and the true treasure lies within. Acquiring knowledge about the outside world is useful to an extent, but ultimately fulfillment and happiness is found by going within. 5. Observe whether you apply different rules to yourself than you apply to other people. A spiritually egoic person might believe that if they feel the urge to be harsh towards someone, then they should indeed be harsh towards that person, and the harsh words were channeled, or divinely guided, or it was necessary tough love that was for the person's highest good. But if someone else is harsh towards the spiritually egoic person, now suddenly a different set of rules apply. Now suddenly those harsh words are unspiritual and low consciousness, and people should act loving and respectful towards others. Similarly, a spiritually egoic person might believe that if unpleasant things happen to other people, then that is always for their highest good, or it's deserved because it's karma, or it's beneficial for them because they need to learn some lesson. But then if an unpleasant thing happens to the spiritual person himself or herself, now suddenly a different set of rules apply. Now suddenly it's an injustice that shouldn't have happened, and it only came about because someone else did something wrong and evil. A spiritual person may claim they believe that everything that happens is always for the person's highest good. However, this spiritual person probably locks his or her front door at night, thereby proving that he or she does not actually believe that anything that happens to him or her is for his or her highest good. If you apply different rules to yourself than you apply to other people, then that is a form of spiritual ego. After all, you're giving yourself a special kind of elevated status above the masses. even though you're likely not the most spiritually advanced person on the planet. Most likely you aren't yet radiating love to the extent that other people comment on it, for example. Even if you have some kind of psychic ability unlocked, well, that by itself doesn't make you a spiritual master. Lots of people who still have quite a far way to go on the spiritual path have psychic abilities unlocked. Furthermore, you're certainly not the only person on the planet with unlocked psychic abilities. Remember the Dunning-Kruger effect. People who have just started to develop a small amount of skill in an area typically rate themselves as being very good at that thing. This is because they're not skilled enough yet to see all the things they haven't mastered yet. Conversely, an actually skilled person will likely be somewhat humble and will be very aware of all the things he doesn't know yet, or doesn't do optimally yet. So if you think you are super advanced in the spiritual field and there is little left for you to learn, but you're not regularly getting compliments from others about how they love your presence and treasure your words, then most likely you are in fact relatively new on the spiritual path. And that is completely fine. Everyone was new once. And even a person who is serious about spirituality, and also quite new, is in a sense ahead of the average person who isn't interested in spirituality. Still, it is good to realize that the spiritual road can be very long, and that even if you have taken some substantial steps already, that doesn't necessarily make you a master. Still, I applaud everyone who is on the spiritual path. And most likely that includes you if you're tuning into these messages. So, great job. I applaud you, and I respect you. Even if you're not yet a spiritual master at this moment, even then you are still an amazing person, because you have started climbing the mountain in a world where most people haven't. You are already good enough, and you are already fully worthy of love. Your star brother, Hakann. Goddess of creation, you are creation. Namasika, Vini Beni, I am the one, I am the whole. I greet you, beloved family. I reach out from my heart to yours. I reach out to embrace you in this now moment. I invite you to consider your breath work, or your breathing, as you move throughout your day. At the beginning of these meditations, we always do deep breathing so that you're taking everything that's around you and bringing it down inside of you with every breath in, and then it may percolate around inside of you. And as you breathe out, you let go. This breathing in and out in such a focused manner allows you to expand more fully in your life. Because the more that you are centered within yourself, the more that you can see or be aware of whatever it may be that's around you. I invite you to consider where you place your focus. If you get distracted, if you're pulled in many different directions, because you're very, very busy, the ability to breathe down inside of yourself can help to clear out some of the distractions that you may have in your life. Distraction sometimes may be a way for you to process things in your unconsciousness. However, distractions can also keep you from moving in whatever direction it is that you may want to go. So pay attention and see what is happening within you. As you find that focus within yourself, go into your heart center. As you do so, feel as if you are drawing some of that energy from your heart center and create a ball of light. You are intrinsically filled with light. Light is an infusion that can go into you and into every cell, thoughts, or emotions. But when we think of light, we're thinking of a frequency that is a high vibration. So let that high vibrational frequency, as if you are literally infusing light within you, to go into your heart center as that energy swirls around. I could feel you expand as you did this. Send a piece of that energy, let it move down through your solar plexus, let it move into your sacral energy body, your root center, and then it goes down into the earth. As it anchors on the earth, you can feel it moving in different directions. And then it comes back up through that thread of energy that you sent down. And once again, the earth's energy swirls within you in your heart center. Send it up through your throat, your third eye, your head center, your crystalline energy body, and send it up until you connect to your higher self. Look around this space. Your higher self is where you send your focus anytime that you are processing things in your everyday life. When you go into meditation, when you're working hard and things seem to slip in, it frequently is coming from your higher self. Your higher self is that blend of your soul and your human awareness in this lifetime. So, it therefore gives you that higher perspective anytime you're looking for answers. You let that stream of consciousness go even further up. You feel it as it goes up. And that thread of energy culminates in the space of your soul, or your divinity. That thread that is connected to you in this lifetime is always connected and open to your divinity. As you arrive within this space, it is always welcoming to you. It is a place that is saying, "You're here, you're back. Thank you for coming to visit." Because when you connect in this space through your conscious intention, you are more fully present than when you come to the space through your unconsciousness. Your soul always loves you and supports you no matter what may be happening in your life. It may be when things are challenging and you question why. That is when your soul is reaching out even more to wrap you in the arms of love and support. As you are here, open that pathway so that you may more fully understand this connection. I, the goddess, walk in and amongst each one of you. I reach out to embrace you, which moves you into the space of the all that is. Look around at the all that is. I invite you to, first of all, step into the space as if your eyes are closed and just feel what this is like. Some of you may feel a lot of information, others may not pick up anything in particular. Have a clear intention that you are opening your senses, and with your eyes closed, look around. Everyone is strengthening their ability to use their senses, and I would encourage you to try this in your everyday life. If you get into a place, just close your eyes and pick up whatever information you may feel, sense, see, or know is within that space. As I look around, I notice that some of you have very detailed work. It's as if you're in a room and there are these beautiful paintings, or the walls themselves are painted, or there is artwork made from wood. It's very interesting. This is something that I have not particularly noticed before, but because I'm looking through each of you, through your senses, it's allowing me to recognize that you create this to be a place of beauty for you. As I say those words, I see even more things manifesting in your space. Some of you have filled it with trees. I can feel the oceans, water, a river, vast mountains. I want you to understand how with your creation, you can make anything, and then, as if you are walking through the space, let it move within you so that as you reach out, you can physically touch a tree, touch the water, touch the walls that are filled with gorgeous paintings. The more senses that you use within this space, the more real you make it for yourself. The more that you create within this space, and you practice, and you experience it, the easier it becomes for you to do the same in your everyday life at home. How interesting at home is the phrase that came through. That leads me to question, is your soul, is the all that is, your true home, or is your home where you live in your everyday reality of this lifetime? I can hear people saying they are both home. I hear some say this is home. Some say the earth plane is home. There's no right or wrong answer. So consider your everyday life. Where are your thoughts? Where is your focus? We have talked many times about the way that your thoughts create your reality. Here is the perfect example of how that works. As you think of whatever it is that might be going through your mind, it manifests immediately within this space. I hear you. People are already saying, but it's easy up here. It's not easy down there. It's different. I acknowledge that. The key is that the more you practice within this space, and the more you become accustomed to having things manifest immediately, the easier it will happen to you in your everyday reality. So take a step back from whatever you have created here, and now let's go back to your thoughts. Sometimes it is easier to be in the space of what you want to manifest here in the all that is, where the vibration is so translucent. So, in truth, where are your thoughts in your everyday life? How often do you find yourself thinking about something you want to manifest but through the eyes of lack? I don't have it in my life, so I want it. I don't have that job I want. I don't have that relationship I want, But this is what I'm seeking to manifest. As those thoughts go through your mind and whatever it may be that is your reality, look at how the all that is changes. Humanity is very accustomed to looking through the eyes of lack. Humanity is also very accustomed to looking through the eyes of frustration and disappointment. In fact, probably there are many of you that don't recognize that that's how you're actually looking at life. So clear away any expectations. Clear away whatever may be in your consciousness now, and then ask to see how do you look at life. Excellent. I heard multitudes say, I look at life as potentials. There were some that said, I look at life with anticipation. And there were others that said, I'm in the process of manifesting. And then there were a number of you that were also seeking to make changes. But what I heard and saw from them was this place of being stuck, this lack of motion, this lack of potential coming their way. Consider once again, as if you're looking at your life, how does it come to you? Okay. What I just heard, it's those that are already manifesting and looking through the eyes of potential. And with an easy flow, it's like they shifted to a different place where they're amplifying what it is they seek to manifest. And they're working with their everyday energies. What I'm going to do is the remainder that are looking to create change but still seem stuck are the ones I want to work with right now. Consider a phrase, I'm looking for help in my life. And I pray to God, or I pray to Jesus, or I pray to Allah, or I pray to whomever, that they will help me. When you consider that, how does it make you feel? Okay. I noticed a vast majority, it gives you hope, it makes you feel uplifted. It's as if you are giving a burden to God, Jesus, Yeshua, whomever it may be. In this higher frequency, it becomes more and more apparent. That's not the right word. In the higher frequencies, there is a transition in how you manifest in your life. What God, Jesus, the Goddess, I myself, can do for you is to surround you with love, surround you with light, and help to populate potentials in front of you. And then you have to be the one to choose the potential that you want, choose the opportunity that you want. You have to then walk into whatever that may be. Maybe it is sending out resumes, maybe it's looking for a new home, maybe it's reaching out to loved ones you haven't talked to, or friends, or whoever that may be. In this energy, what God, Goddess, the angels, the light beings are doing for you is helping to amplify that flow of love and connection to your own divinity. And through that, give you strength that you make the choices, that you live your life, that you step outside of your comfort zone so that you are the one living your life. What I noticed is that people are waiting for God to do the work for them. They're waiting for God to absolve them from guilt, or pain, or suffering. They're waiting for God to tell them what to do, but that decision is yours. God is there to give you the opportunities, and then you step into it. Okay. I could see there was resistance in some of you. Consider this in another way. When you feel the best in your life, you feel empowered, you feel as if you are in control of your life, you feel as if you are making choices that support you, and all of this builds up a strength within you. If somebody else makes those decisions for you, you don't like it. There are many times that people want to give their power to someone else. There are many times over the last 50 to 75 years that people have chosen to give their power to someone else, but not anymore. You become stronger, you become empowered when you take back your own ability to make choices. When you make choices in your life, you are empowering yourself. I can sense that many people feel fearful about this. I wish to say that my belief is that you cannot make a mistake. You make choices, and every single choice gives you opportunities, and then you make another decision, and another, and another. And every choice you make is moving you along the pathway of your life. Some of these choices may show you what you do not want. Some of these choices will show you exactly what it is you do want. And in everything, you are the one that is building up the confidence, the strength, and that deep alignment with your own soul with every decision that you make. Let God, and the angels and the beings fill the area in and around you with love and light and support so that they show you your opportunities, and then you jump into them. I can feel so many more of you now stepping in, taking a chance. As you do so, every time you do that, you become stronger and stronger within yourself. I'm going to clear out this space. Look around at the all that is, and consider what you seek to manifest, and consider what thoughts you have and how this is going to manifest. For so many more, I can't just see bursts of light. I see multiple potentials. They were always there, you just didn't see them. Here is your chance. Start looking around. Start taking those steps. It's a beautiful world. You are fully supported. In the last 2 channels, you connected more deeply with your soul. You connected with that huge alignment with the universal light. Now, in this one, experience ways that you can use it in your everyday life. There is such love within this space. There is such beauty within each one of you. Do not judge what experiences you've had, or what choices you have made. Even moving forward, accept every choice, and every experience for what it is. An experience to help you in your everyday life. I invite everyone to come together as a group. We're bringing back those that were doing their own experience. And as everyone gathers in a circle, number 1, look at the light that is infused in everybody, including yourself. Look down. Look around you. You are filled with light. And then secondly, through this highlight frequency, look at all the angels and the light beings that surround all of you. Feel their presence. Feel their love as it is here for you. Coming up within that column of light, you see a hologram of the earth. You may see perhaps there are certain areas that need to have more of an infusion of love. You may decide to send your light and focus to a particular place. But as this hologram comes up within you, as it's swirling around, each one of you infuses all this love and light into the hologram. You infuse into it your new perception of self. You infuse your new potential into this hologram. It takes on light. It may take on blues and pinks and purples. And then there's that piece of it that goes out into the universe as it becomes suspended. And the remainder of that hologram goes down into the earth. As it connects to the earth, it spreads out through the consciousness, and the co-essence of what all of you infused goes all the way down into the center of the earth. And it anchors there within Gaia. It makes it available to Gaia. It makes it available to each one of you. And then it all comes up through the many layers of the earth. It comes up through the grass, the water, the trees. It comes up to that place where you have anchored. And your own energies and awareness comes up moving within you in your physical reality. The remainder comes back down. It goes back through your soul plane, through your higher self. And it streams back down through your head center. Allow it to flow within you. You may need to stretch out your energy to feel this expanded awareness. To let it move through you. As you're anchoring yourself once more. Once again, consider how you're looking at your life, or how you seek to manifest. I can see how there are so many new transitions and new ways in which you are now looking out at your life. You are making these changes. And the more that you work with it, the more it becomes a part of your everyday life, your everyday experiences, and then it's just automatic. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Creation is the very essence of who you are. You are the creation of the egg and sperm that came together that created you, from that very first cellular level. And then countless times throughout your life, you are creating your life. You create your reality. You create your response to things. You create whatever the situations may be that you find yourself within. The foundation is always creation. The more that you empower yourself through the experiences that you have, through the choices that you make, the more that you are strengthening that essence of the divine within you. You are the expression of your soul. Express through the creations that are part of your life. Beloved, know that I am ever with you and within you. And so we source rayofflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.